She was an unassuming nurse, quietly going about her day, until a hidden camera caught a moment of unexpected compassion that would turn her life upside down. What started as a simple act of kindness soon became a legacy that nobody could have predicted. In the corner of a bustling hospital where time seemed to sprint and compassion often got lost in the shuffle, there was one room no one dared to enter. Room 213. The air outside the door was thick with avoidance, as if something inside repelled every passerby. Staff moved quickly past, eyes down, feet faster. Inside lay an old man, skin paper thin and eyes hollow from more than just illness. His name, Walter Green. Nurses had warned each other. He was cold, rude, maybe even hateful. Some said he yelled at anyone who tried to help. Others whispered that he'd once thrown a tray across the room. But on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, a nurse named Maya James stopped in front of that very door, drawn by a sound others had learned to ignore. A soft, ragged weeping. Maya wasn't new to the job, but she was new to this floor. Her presence, young and calm, contrasted the buzzing chaos around her. Her hand hovered over the door handle for just a moment before she gently pushed it open. The room was dim, silent, but for the steady beeping of machines and the broken sound of a man's grief. Walter didn't look at her. He lay curled to one side, shoulders shaking. A tray of untouched food sat forgotten near the window. Maya didn't speak. She didn't flinch. She simply walked in, pulled a chair beside the bed, and sat. She didn't see the phone hidden behind the water pitcher, quietly recording everything. She only saw a man who had been left behind. The next day, Maya returned to room 213, not because she had to, but because something about that man's quiet suffering had stayed with her. She carried with her a fresh blanket, a warm smile, and the same quiet presence that had filled the room the day before. Walter was awake this time, staring at the blank screen of the TV mounted on the wall. His expression was unreadable, but Maya could sense the tension in his clenched hands. "Good morning, Mr. Green," Maya said softly, adjusting the blanket at his feet. He didn't answer, not with words anyway, but his hands relaxed slightly, and that was enough. Maya didn't force conversation. She simply moved around the room with care, checking his vitals, tidying the bedside table, and staying close without intruding. A few nurses gave her strange looks as she left the room. Some shook their heads, one even muttered, "Why bother?" But Maya had seen something they hadn't. Not hatred, not rage, just deep, aching loneliness. Later that week, as she helped Walter sit up for the first time in days, his voice, hoarse and barely audible, broke the silence. "You're not like the others," he said. Maya paused, surprised. "I'm just doing my job," she replied with a kind smile. What she didn't see was the small red light blinking once again, still recording. Every touch, every word, every quiet moment. Over the following days, Maya kept coming back. Even when her shift didn't assign her to room 213, she found moments to stop by. Sometimes she brought him warm tea from the break room. Other times it was a simple greeting or a few quiet minutes sitting beside him in silence. Walter began to change subtly. He spoke a little more. He looked at her when she entered. Once he even asked her about her favorite book. Maya answered with a quiet laugh. "Probably To Kill a Mockingbird. Makes me believe people can change." Walter didn't say anything at first. Then he murmured, "People only change when someone finally sees them." Maya didn't press him. She never asked about his past, never questioned why he was alone. That wasn't what he needed. And all the while, the hidden phone on the nightstand kept recording. One evening, as a thunderstorm rolled across the city, Maya found Walter awake and staring out the window. "You know," he said, voice low, "when I had money, people never left me alone. Now that I have nothing, I've never been more invisible." Maya turned to him, her tone gentle but firm. You're not invisible to me. He looked at her then, not just with his eyes, but with something deeper. Recognition, maybe even gratitude. That night, for the first time, Walter asked Maya to stay a bit longer, and she did. Not because she was assigned to, not because anyone was watching, but because something told her he needed it. Maya didn't know that while she worked quietly, the rest of the world was about to discover what she had done in private. The video, quietly uploaded by a hospital janitor who had discovered the phone, started spreading online like wildfire. No music, no edits, just a nurse sitting with a forgotten man, holding his hand like it mattered. It didn't take long before it was everywhere. News sites, morning talk shows, social media feeds. People called her the quiet angel. Others said she reminded them of what true care should look like. But Maya, she still didn't know. She had no idea she was trending. No clue her face was on TV screens across the country. She was too busy tucking in Walter's blanket, too focused on helping him sip water, too human to think about fame. One morning, as she helped him sit up straighter, he looked at her with something almost like amusement. "Do you always treat people like they're kings?" he asked, voice scratchy but playful. Maya smiled. "I treat them like they matter, because they do." Walter chuckled, then grew quiet. He glanced at the phone still sitting on his nightstand, the same one that had recorded everything. "You have no idea what you've done, do you?" he murmured. Maya tilted her head, confused. "I just sat with you." Walter nodded slowly. "Exactly." That morning, Maya's phone wouldn't stop vibrating on her nightstand. Half asleep, she reached for it, squinting at the flood of notifications. Dozens of missed calls, hundreds of unread messages, texts from classmates, old professors, even distant cousins. "Is this really you? Maya, you're on the news!" Confused, Maya clicked on a link someone sent. A video began to play. Her heart skipped. There she was, on screen, sitting beside Walter, holding his hand, speaking softly. A news anchor's voice narrated over the footage. "In a world overwhelmed by division, one nurse reminds us of quiet compassion." Maya sat frozen on the edge of her bed, phone in hand, barely breathing. When she arrived at the hospital, everything felt different. Staff who used to walk past her without a glance now smiled and nodded. Some even applauded. Her supervisor, normally strict and distant, stopped her in the hallway. "Nurse Simmons, what you did, it reminded us why we're here." But the biggest surprise was waiting for her after lunch. A man in a tailored navy suit stood near the nurse's station. His posture was formal, his gaze calm. "Miss Maya Simmons?" he asked. "I'm Henry Caldwell. I represent the Green Charitable Trust." Maya blinked, completely thrown off. "Green? As in Walter Green," Henry replied with a small smile. "The man you've been caring for." Maya stared at him, words caught in her throat. "He's not just a patient," Henry continued. "He's the founder of one of the largest philanthropic foundations in the country. And he's chosen you." "Chosen me?" Maya echoed, still stunned. "To lead something new," Henry said. "A healthcare initiative focused on bringing real care to those most often overlooked, and he wants you to lead it." Maya sat in the hospital administrator's office, her hands clenched tightly in her lap. She half expected a formal warning, maybe for being filmed without permission or violating policy. Instead, the administrator looked at her like she was someone entirely new. "You've reminded us what this place is supposed to be," he said. "Not just a facility, but a place of care." Henry Caldwell sat beside him, a leather folder resting on the desk between them. "This," he said, sliding the folder toward Maya, "is the beginning of something bigger." Inside were documents, a new foundation initiative, complete with funding, mission statements, and one name at the top: Maya Simmons. He wants you to lead this, Henry said. Mobile health clinics, mental health outreach, scholarships for nurses from underserved communities. You decide how it grows. Maya's throat tightened. Her eyes brimmed, but she blinked the tears back. I didn't do anything special, she whispered. Henry smiled. And that's exactly why you were chosen. Later that evening, Maya returned to room 213. Walter was asleep, his breathing even and calm. She sat by his side one more time, her fingers gently adjusting the corner of his blanket. Thank you, she whispered, not sure if he could hear. Not for the opportunity, but for seeing me. As she stood to leave, Walter stirred slightly. His voice cracked the silence. Make it count, Maya. She turned back, heart full. I will. And she would. Not because of the spotlight, not because of the viral fame, but because of who she had always been when no one was looking.